Dr. T. Phakwankanan as the Ministry of Education, Thailand. Dr. Rangsan Wigbonupatam from the UNICEF, Thailand. Dr. Farah Nakhtiar from the University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. Dr. Nur Fauzia MPD from Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. And Engineer Janet C. Bencur from Visayas State University, Philippines. First of all, let's pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us a good health to gather on this place. And also salawat and salam always be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My name is Kotrunada Al-Mubarakah. Allow me to be your master of ceremony of this wonderful event, and we would like to welcome all of you to the second UMGCINMATIC of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik Social Science, Engineer, and Humanity International Conference 2022. Please give a big applause. Allow me to inform you all of our agenda today. The first agenda is opening, following by reciting the Quran and also speeches from the director and also from the rector. Before that, we will be enjoying the wonderful performance of the UMG student of the Damar Kurung dance. The next agenda is the speech from director of LPSO2 and also continued by the speaking section with the topic of the learning loss recovery, best practices in 4 countries. The next agenda is closing statement, and then we will continue for the break session. The next agenda is the parallel session for the presenters, and then we will be following with the announcement of the best and also presenter award. And the last performance is closing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's open this event by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Moving on to the next agenda is reciting the Quran. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ahmad from Islamic Education Department.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tabarakalladzi biyadihil mulk wa huwa ala kulli syai'in qadir. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير صدق الله العظيم. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Ahmad from Islamic Education Department. Moving to the next agenda is singing Indonesian National Anthem and singing Sang Surya. The singing will be led by Ananda Maya. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The next agenda is the Indonesian dance performance of Damar Kurung dance. Please welcome to our Surya Samudra Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik team, Ananda Eka Yunila Putri and Devi Melinda Nurfiantika. Please give a big applause. Thank you very much for the wonderful performance of Damar Kurung Dance by Surya Samudra UMG team. The next agenda is the welcoming speech from the Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ibu Nadiratul Laili, SPSI MPSI Psikolog. Please give a big applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Dr. Tira Bawangkananta, Deputy Secretary General of the Office of the Basic Education Commission, Ministry of Education, Thailand. Mr. Sawat Senghan, Director of Le Primary Education Service Area Office 2, Mr. Wanlup Wibongkun, Deputy Director 1, Dr. Utai Pleklum, Deputy Director 2, Dr. Punyawe Sirakutanes, Deputy Director, Dr. Wanda Simpol, Senior Supervisor, Dr. Farah Nasyar from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Dr. Janet C. Bengkur from Vyasas State University, Dr. Rangsun Wibonupatum from UNICEF Thailand, all Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik, Chairman of UMGCINMATIC 2022, Speaker of UMGCINMATIC, Committee of UMGCINMATIC, presenters, and all participants. First of all, let's pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us mercy and health together in the place. Also, salawat and salam is always be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nadiratul Laili. I currently serve as the Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. In this occasion, I would like to say welcome for all speakers, presenters, and participants to the second UMG Social Science and Humanities International Conference 2022 hosted by Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. A special welcome to offers from Le Primary Educational Service Area Office 2, Thailand, who attend this conference on site. Welcome to Indonesia and welcome to Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. The second UMGCINMATIC is conducted to accommodate experts to discuss the latest educational issues during the COVID-19 pandemic. The conference is also co-hosted by Le Primary Educational Service Area Office 2, Thailand. This year, we have a special topic, which is the learning loss recovery best practice in 4 countries. We invite experts from 4 different countries, including Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Philippines. We really hope this conference serves you beneficial insight related to current issues in education. As we know that the education sector is experiencing quite serious problem due to the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the problems that has become the focus of attention is learning loss. Effort to restore the education sector affected by the COVID-19 pandemic require improvement by carrying out learning recovery. We can recover learning loss by intentionally planning how we use time and instructional strategies with students throughout differentiation. In my opinion, to address the learning loss effectively, educator and should need to implement holistic learning to help students gain learning. Throughout this conference, we do help everyone take some notes and information as the solution on the learning loss experience in implement the best practice in each situation. The last, formally, I respectfully open the second UMGCINMATIC 2022. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Ibu Nadira Dulaili for the wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, the second UMGCINMATIC will be held in a blended mode in one day. It is also co-hosted by Lei Primary Educational Service Area Office 2, Thailand. All papers presented on the second of UMGCINMATIC will be published in proceeding with ESSN. Now, we will welcome Dr. Bunyawi Tirakuntanaset, the Deputy Director 3 of LPASL2, to deliver his speech. Please give a big applause.
Mrs. Natit Rotu Riley, Director of University Muhammadiyah Gresik. Mrs. Eli Ismaya, Director 1. Mr. Anwar Haryano, Director 2. Mr. Sunawa, Director 3. Dr. Sukista, Chairman of the second UMGCINMATIC and Director of Research and Community Service Center. Purina MPD, Head of Partnership Office, and distinguished guests. This is my great pleasure to welcome you to the second UMGCINMATIC Learning Loss Recovery Best Practice in 4 countries. This is an academic collaboration between Indonesia and Thailand. I am proud to inform you that UMG and Lei Primary Educational Service Area Office 2 have conducted the MOU between organizations rather for years. This MOU aims to, the first, joint collaboration to increase educational opportunities, enrich the educational environment, and exchange academic information, research, and cultural awareness about both countries. The second, visits by the exchange of students, teachers, and administrators for training, workshops, and discussion in English learning development. The third, to increase international contacts and enhance international understanding between the country in Association of Southeast Asia Nations. In the past 2 years, we collaborate to develop online training for English teachers, English camp for students, 4 cohorts of student internship program, and 2 cohorts of student research team. These activities are very beneficial and valuable for education development of Lei PESA2 that carry test support by UMG. I hope that the cooperation between Indonesia and Thailand will increase international contacts and enhance international understandings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Dr. Bonyawi Thirakunandansat, the Deputy of LPASIO 3 Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is a souvenir giving from the LPASIO Thailand to Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. Now, I welcome Mrs. Nadiratul Laili, SPSI MPSI Sikolong, to the stage, and also Dr. Wanida Simpon from the LPSIO2 to give the souvenir. Please give a big applause. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the second UMGCINMATIC is an international conference conducted annually in Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. The conference is packaged simply by taking the area of social science and humanity, which emphasize more on education and economy. Some disciplines are including education, language teaching, English language teaching, virtual and blended teaching, computer-assisted language learning, teaching media, early childhood education, Islamic education, entrepreneurship, economy, law, psychology, technology and education, and also engineering. Today, we will discuss about a very interesting topic, which is learning loss recovery best practices in 4 countries. As we know that we have wonderful speakers from 4 different countries, including Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, and also Malaysia. And now, let us start with the speaking section with our speakers. Without further ado, allow me to invite our moderator today, Ms. Paulina MPD. Please give a big applause. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Paulina MPD is currently become the head of partnership office in Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. She is also in charge of national and also international cooperation in Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. She is now studying doctoral degree at the University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. She has performed many international activities for UMG. And also, she is the alumni of the IIFF USA and also DIID Germany Scholarship. Now, she is also the lecturer of English Education Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. Furthermore, allow me to invite our wonderful speakers today to the stage. Dr. T. Bawangkatna, as the Ministry of Education Thailand. Dr. Nur Fauziah, MPD, from Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. Dr. Farah Nastiar, from the University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. Dr. Wanida Simpon, from the LPSO2 Thailand. Dr. Engineer Janet C. Bencure from Visayas State University, Philippines, and also Dr. Rangsan Wibonupatum from the UNICEF Thailand. Now, I will hand over the event to Ms. Paulina MPD. Please give a big applause.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good morning. And let me greet the VIP here first. So, the Honorable Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik, Ibu Nadiratul Laili, SPSI, And then the Vice Rector 1, Ibu Eli Ismia, and Vice Rector 2, Vice Rector 3, all directors, deans, the head of departments, and also the lecturers at Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. And also we have Dr. T. Bawangkananta, Deputy Secretary General of the Office of the Basic Education Commission, Ministry of Education Thailand, Mr. Sawat Sengkan as the Director of Loi Primary Educational Service Area Office 2 Thailand, Mr. Wanlop Wibungkun as the Deputy Director 1 in Lei Pisau 2, Dr. Utai Pliklam as the Deputy Director 2 in Lei Pisau 2, Dr. Punyawi Tirakuntanaset as the Deputy Director 3 in Lei Pisau 2, Dr. Wanida Simpon, Dr. Farhan Nasia, Dr. Rangsun Wibunupatum from UNICEF Thailand, Dr. Janet C. Benkyu from Visayas State University, and also the committee of the second UMGCINMATIC 2022, all presenters, and then all participants in this place. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Paulina, and then I will serve you as the moderator today. And it is my honor to be here with you in the second UMGCINMATIC 2022. And then the conference today will bring an interesting topic, namely the learning loss recovery. And then we will have best practices from 4 countries. And I'm sure during and after pandemic, a lot of efforts given to restore the education sectors affected. Some recoveries are implemented, and seeing what happened on the learning loss, some policies came up with a high expected solutions. But this solution can address the issue of the learning loss. So what kind of strategy, what kind of best practice that we can learn to address the issue? So today we will listen to some experts here. They will talk about the best practices on the learning loss recovery from their countries, and we will see what happened there. We have Indonesia, we have Malaysia, we have Philippines, and also we have Thailand, of course. And with us today, we have 6 speakers. Let me greet them now first. We have 2 speakers on site. Hello, Dr. Wanida, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Parina. Very
Yes.
nice to see you here.
Thank you, Dr. Wanida. And we have also Dr. Nofauzia here from UMG. Good morning, Dr. Nofauzia.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. And we also have speakers that is attending online. Let me greet Dr. T, Deputy Secretary General of the Office of the Basic Education Commission, Ministry of Education Thailand. Good morning, Dr. T. And also we have Dr. Farah Nacia Muhammad Gajah from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. Good morning, Dr. Farah.
Good morning. Okay.
We also have Dr. Rangsun Wibunupatum from UNICEF Thailand. And we have Dr. Janet C. Benkyu from Visayas State University, Philippines. Okay. So all participants, please stay with us to listen and learn their educational experience. And you can also give your participation after all presenters finishing the speaking. You can ask them questions, okay? And now let's just move to the first speaker of today. The first speaker is Dr. T. Bawangkananta. Dr. T, are you here? Dr. T, can you hear me?
Morning,
Good
distinguished
morning.
guests, participants, and organizing committee members. I'm very honored to join everyone today
Dr. T,
for the, on the learning loss recovery to listen and learn about best practice from 4 countries. This is my first engagement in Universitas Muhammadiyah Basic Social Science and Humanity International Conference. I'm very pleased to hear that our Thai education local authorities from Loi province has been working closely with the university. This is already a good practice which can be promoted more in our ASEAN communities.
ให้เดี๋ยวไปคว้าเสื้อมาก่อน
Today's discussion is about the learning
Hello.
loss, its impact from
ได้นะ
COVID-19.
ได้นะ
You all may be aware of the impact of the COVID-19 on education in this region. But I would like to re-emphasize on looking at closing years of progress. Of course, the children has wished to not return to schools and those that are most likely to be out of school children to begin with. And they are the most vulnerable groups of children. Being out of schools come with all the risks that are well known to all of us. It's clear that the longer schools are closed, the greater to learning loss. Nonetheless, learning experience across the region are very widely. On the one hand, countries like Vietnam or Timor-Leste, which managed to keep schools open nationwide almost throughout the pandemic, while the Philippines and Myanmar, which kept school closed throughout the pandemic, and somewhat in between like Thailand. The estimation of ADB shows how these different experiences relate to estimated learning loss, with the loss in Vietnam or Timor-Leste only half of the estimated learning loss in the Philippines or Myanmar. Looking at losing years of progress, of course, the children has wished to not return to schools are those that are most likely to be out of school children to begin with and are the most vulnerable groups of children. Being out of schools come with all of the risks that are well known to all of us. We have witnessed too many risks emerge. Risk of child marriage and risk of adolescent pregnancy across the EAP. More children in domestic violence and abuse in household, suffering from poorer nutrition and hunger, and school closure jeopardize mental health. You can see that there are so many million children are estimated to live in income poor household. This slide demonstrated that the that beyond learning loss, there are also increasement in poverty level. I would like to bring you all to a deep look at Thailand's situation. This is a survey conducted by UNICEF, which has launched in last November 2022, when schools were closed last semester 2021. 89% of children aged about 7 up to 17 years access remote learning. However, in the Northeast, 77% of children access remote learning. Among the poor, the proportion of children not accessing remote learning was 27%. This graph shows that access to remote learning was a serious issue in Northeast and among the poorest. When we ask about how much on our average a child learn from distant learning, around 77% state less than and half what they would be have in face-to-face learning, with around 30% indicating that a child learned a quarter as much as face-to-face learning. In sum, we have found so many emerging incidents which caused by the COVID-19. There are challenges in classroom instruction disruption, digital learning, getting all out of schools, children back to the system, learning loss, which is the focus of today's event, more concern on student well-being, including teacher well-being as well. Despite all those negative incidents, we also found that there is a learning gain among us. For example, ICT skill to facilitate remote learning, including me presenting you all here today, which was not two skill set which I had before the COVID. All the above has challenged us as educators to be equipped with more comprehensive framework, which could tackle all the challenges as to ensure that our children are well equipped, well prepared, and well supported for their future. This application led by Dr. Trinut Thientong, my minister, has always emphasized on 4 dimensions of trade, which could also play vital impediment in your education ecology system, like violence, unhealthiness, right violation, and accidents. This year, in September 2022, I believe that Indonesia is also a country to show national commitment in the UN Assembly for Thailand. We had Deputy Prime Minister Pravit Wongsuwan address in the Transformation Educational Summit at New York. He said the Royal Thai government's strong commitment to investing in the national education system to ensure it is efficient, equitable, fair, transparent, and able to adapt to change. Thailand has committed to 5 main themes: recovery from COVID-19, education and employability, public finance and investment in education, teaching, professional development, and digital transformation. You can search in the internet for these greater details of those themes. I went to re-emphasize that today's event is directly linked to education, recovery from COVID-19, which every first theme of these 5 commitments, In addition, we also have Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Don Pramatvinay, made the remarks, the titles, mental health promotion and prevention in schools and learning environments, and an urgent call to action for world leaders and donors, emphasizing 3 key messages. Highlighting the School Health Hero initiative in Thailand first. The second, school can help prevent mental health issues. And the last, schools must provide a creative and conducive learning environment for all students. Thailand, by the Office of Education Council, has issued measure of recover learning loss, referred to as recover strategy. During prolonged period of the COVID-19 disruption, this measure serve as guideline for impacted educational sector. R is redesigning new learning process. E is empowering teacher and principals. C is mean a collaborating for effective learning among educational institutions, teachers, parents, communities, and all related sectors. O is open educational resource, or we call OER. And V is evaluating positive attitudes for learning and the well-being for learners on both physical and mental health. E is the elevating the quality for learning learning management through the systematic and effective use for technology. And the last R is reinforcing welfare security, good moral, and encouragement. As I mentioned earlier, Ministry of Education Thailand has taken a comprehensive approach to tackle challenge emergent from COVID-19 impact. Student safety and well-being must be also integral part of this process. The Minister has established MOE Safety Center to be a caring support system for each individual child. The system also takes advantage of recent technology to allow anyone in society to report any case to the system, such as students, parents, teachers, school administrators, education personnel, and public. It simply says that anyone in Thailand could download this application and report the case to Ministry of Education for a concrete model on learning recovery. I would leave it to Dr. Rangsan, education specialist, gonna talk about he from UNICEF Thailand to elaborate further from what UNICEF, MOE Thailand, and wider education communities in Thailand has been working together. I would like to conclude my intervention here that we will strive to this betterment of our education for all. Again, I'm very honored to join this event and wish all have New Year to come. I hope one day I will come to join this event physically. Indonesia is the one of my most favorite community, especially Java Island, or I mean maybe Bandung or somewhere. สวัสดีครับ
Paulina? Excuse me, Paulina?
Yes. Hello, Dr. Tila. Dr. T, are you there?
Yes. So sorry that I just came from OBEC channel. It's my in-house OBEC TV live for communication with our team in Thailand, about 400,000 persons. So I asked Dr. San to prepare the clip for me, and at I said already that I think it's a very important issue that we talk about today. So we will work together in another contract or another way after this by keep in touch each other and work together. I think the main network from UNICEF is easier and work together. And so after this, when we talk about question and answer, after that, I will maybe some have a question for me. Please leave to Dr. Rangsan, and I will send the message together for to learning together about this issue. Thank you for you all, and Happy New Year again.
Thank you, Dr. T. That's a wonderful materials from you. And everyone, please give applause to Dr. T. Yeah, Dr. T is a Deputy Secretary General of the Office of the Basic Education Commission, or OBEC, Ministry of education in Thailand. And prior to his current role, Dr. T was an Inspector General for Education and Senior Advisor in networking system and participant development. In addition, he held at given times the position of Director and Deputy Director of the OPEC Student Protection Task Force Center, which is a coordinating center that helps students who have experienced physical and psychological violence. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. T. And now we will move to our second speaker. Okay, we have Dr. Nur Fauzia here. And before Dr. Nur Fauzia presenting her materials, I would like to read her short biography. Dr. Nur Fauzia is currently a dean in Faculty of Teacher Training and Education at Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. She also served as an expert trainer for Sekolah Penggerak and also salesperson for IKM Directorate SMP, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. She also has many experience as accreditation reviewer for PAN-SM in East Java, and also she is a reviewer of PKKM and matching fund, and also national and international journal. She gains many expertise through many grants, such as short-term training on lesson study in Japan, and also a sandwich program in South Australia, and many more. She also has many experiences as a salesperson in seminars and workshops. Okay, now please welcome Dr. Nur Fauzia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Rector Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik, Ibu Nadiratul Laili, Vice Rector 1, Bu Eli Ismia, Vice Rector 2 and 3, Dean, Head of Department, lecturers in Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik, keynote speakers from other countries, all presenter and participant in this conference. The first, I would like to thank to conference committee, Ms. Paulina, to give me opportunity to present about Merdeka Curriculum Indonesian Learning Recovery Policy. Well, we can discuss about Indonesian Learning Recovery Policy is called Merdeka Curriculum. Merdeka Curriculum. Okay, the next. The next slide. Okay, before the next slide, I will introduce myself. I'm Nur Fauzia. I'm Dean of Faculty of Teacher Training and Education at Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. In my faculty, we have 4 departments. The first department, Mathematics Education. Okay, thank you, Renata. Okay, in this conference, we will discuss about some topics. The first topic, prolonged and worsening learning crisis due to the pandemic COVID-19 in Indonesia. The first topic, Indonesia government effort for mitigating the impact of the pandemic on learning. The third topic, characteristic of Merdeka curriculum as a continuation of the simplification of the emergency curriculum. The fourth topic, the strategy of implementing the Merdeka curriculum in school, choice based on readiness of school. The next topics, support for curriculum implementation policy from government, Indonesia government. And the last topic, support for learning transformation is called Merdeka Mengajar platform. The next slide. Well, the first topic, learning crisis. When Indonesia got learning crisis? Yeah. A learning crisis in Indonesia has been going on for a long time and has not improved from years to years. International studies, one of them, PISA, Program for International Student Assessment, so that Indonesian students have low ability in understanding simple reading or applying mathematical basic concept. The score do not experience a significant increase in 10 to 15 years and is below the minimum competency for reading ability, mathematics, and science. The study also shows that there is a gap in learning outcome based on economic social status, where students from more affluent families score 5.2 points higher. This is data from OECD. No, before slide. Nah, data from OECD countries in 2018. OECD countries is Organization for Economic Cooperation Development. This organization focus on economic development. This organization consists is around 35 countries. This is data Indonesian score membaca, matematika, science, reading, mathematical science. Indonesian student score below average. Okay, the next slide. Nah, learning crisis also indicated by the high gap in quality of learning. This is data from Indonesia Student Competent Assessment Score in 2019. Indonesia Student Competency Assessment, kalau di bahasa Indonesia kan disebut dengan aksi, assessment kompetensi aksi assessment kompetensi siswa Indonesia dari beberapa wilayah, some region in Indonesia, Sumatera, Borneo, Sulawesi, Papua, dan Maluku, Jakarta dan Yogyakarta, Java, non-Jakarta and Yogyakarta, Bali, dan Nusa Tenggara. The study show that there are large regional disparities in student learning outcome. This study so there is large disparities between region and between socio-economic group in the term of the quality of learning. After the pandemic, is learning crisis has only gotten worse. This is a percentage of different in average aksi assessment kompetensi siswa Indonesia score between DKI Jakarta and Yogyakarta. The next slide. Nah, learning crisis exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic with increasing learning loss and increasing gap in learning. Kita bisa melihat nilai numerasi dan literasi for literacy in grade 1 to grade 2 at elementary school, I think the participant ada yang dari guru sekolah dasar from elementary school teachers. Okay, yeah. This is a data literacy and numeration score for 1 years pada saat pandemi COVID. Yeah. Nilai literasi and numeracy before pandemic, learning progress for 1 year in grade elementary school equal to 100 to 129 and numeracy 77 point. After pandemic, learning progress during grade 1 reduced significant yang disebut dengan learning loss. Jadi ada pengurangan kesempatan belajar dilihat dari literasi dan numerasi. Literasi and numeration score for literacy score for literacy score, we have learning loss until 52 point, equal 6 months, sama dengan kehilangan belajar selama 1 semester. Untuk numeration score equal is 44 point, itu setara equal dengan 5 bulan kehilangan pembelajaran. Dan saya yakin di perguruan tinggi juga demikian, hampir sama. Jadi rata-rata antara 5 sampai 6 bulan. Ya, around 5 until 6 month learning loss. Okay. The data taken from sample of 3,391 school, elementary school student. I think Gresik masuk di situ, maybe. Okay. From 7 cities and 4 province in January 2020 and April 2021. Okay, the next slide. Based on the data, based on the condition at the time, Indonesian government make a new curriculum. What is the new curriculum? What is the new curriculum? Emergency curriculum. Kurikulum darurat, ya. Kurikulum darurat. Because of curriculum have relationship with learning loss during the COVID-19 pandemic. The next slide. Yeah. Simplification of the curriculum in the form of curriculum under special condition or emergency curriculum effectively mitigates learning loss during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a data about this evidence. Student learning outcome for 12 months and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Proyeksi tidak ada learning loss mendapatkan poin 522, projection if no learning loss 22 point. On school using the 2013 curriculum, untuk poin bagi sekolah yang menggunakan kurikulum 2013 mendapatkan skor 482, equal setara dengan kehilangan belajar sebanyak 5 bulan. Ya. Learning loss 5 months. Okay. On school using the emergency curriculum get score 517. Ya. Untuk sekolah yang menggunakan kurikulum darurat, learning loss-nya lebih kecil, yaitu hanya 1 bulan dibandingkan dengan sekolah yang menggunakan kurikulum 2013 at the time, pada saat itu. Okay. Nah, Survei ini dilakukan di 18,370 grade 1 until 3 at elementary school student in 612 schools in 20 districts or cities from 8 provinces. So significant difference in learning outcome between the 2013 curriculum and emergency curriculum. The next slide. Ya, pada saat itu ada 31,5 sekolah di Indonesia yang menggunakan kurikulum emergency curriculum. Around 31.5% school in Indonesia use curriculum emergency curriculum. Okay, the next slide. Okay, well, the next, as part of mitigation in learning loss, school given the option to use emergency curriculum. At the time, around 31.5% school in Indonesia use emergency curriculum. This is simplify emergency curriculum from 2013 curriculum. Jadi ada penyederhanaan dari kurikulum 2013 ke kurikulum darurat. Berapa penyederhanaannya? To simplify around 45% for elementary school and senior high school 68% and senior high school 59%. Okay, the next. Yang dulu dikatakan KI dan KD. Ada mahasiswa FKIP di sini? Angkat tangan. Raise hand. Yeah. Okay. At this point, we can see influence the curriculum on learning loss. Ya. Jadi ada hubungannya antara kurikulum dengan learning loss or learning crisis. Okay, the next. Nah, based on the reason, the government in 2021 make a new curriculum to simplify from emergency curriculum. Ya, jadi tahapannya dari kurikulum 2013 disederhanakan ke kurikulum darurat pada saat pandemi, and in 2021 pemerintah Indonesia membuat kurikulum baru, new curriculum is called Merdeka Curriculum. Yeah. Okay, what is the characteristic of Merdeka Curriculum? Nah, ini ya. This is a different curriculum, 2013 curriculum and Merdeka Curriculum. Curriculum structure is more flexible, lebih fleksibel untuk kurikulum Merdeka. Kemudian fokus on essential material, fokus pada materi esensi. Jadi KI dan KD-nya kompetensinya disederhanakan. Fokus on material essential and give distraction for teachers to use various teaching device according to the needs and characteristic of student. Use of application which provide various references for teacher to able to continue to develop teaching practices independently and share good practices is called Merdeka Mengajar Platform. Platform Merdeka Mengajar. Yeah. Okay, the next. Okay. Excellence of Merdeka Curriculum. The first, simpler and deeper. Yeah. Focus on essential material and develop student competencies in their fase. Learning become deeper, meaningful, and enjoyable. Jadi diharapkan pembelajaran lebih mendalam, lebih menyenangkan karena materinya tidak terlalu banyak. Materinya diambil materi yang esensial. Focus on material essential. Okay, the next. The second characteristic of Merdeka curriculum, more independent. And the next. The third. Yeah, more relevant and interactive. This is one of characteristic Merdeka curriculum is project profil pelajar Pancasila. Apakah ada yang mengenal istilah project penguatan profil pelajar Pancasila? Atau profil pelajar Pancasila saja? Pancasila Student Profile. Ya, kalau di bahasa Inggris kan enggak enak ya. Pancasila Student Profile. What is the Pancasila Student Profile? Pancasila Student Profile have 6 dimension. This is the dimension. The first dimension, beriman, bertakwa kepada Tuhan yang Maha Esa. In English is good characters maybe. Yeah, good characters. The second, berkebinekaan global, unity of diversity. Yeah. And the third, gotong royong, mutual cooperation. The fourth, creative, critical thinking, and independently. There are 6 dimensions of Pancasila student profile. Pancasila is fundamental my countries. Pancasila adalah dasar negara Indonesia. Hingga menjadi istilah Pancasila student profile. Pancasila is fundamental my countries. My country. Okay. The next. Structure of Merdeka curriculum. What are the specialties of the Merdeka curriculum? Okay, Bu Nata, the next. Okay. Structure Merdeka curriculum consists 2 parts. The first, intra-curricular learning, and the second, project to strengthen the Pancasila student profile. Jadi ada 2 bagian di kurikulum Merdeka. Yang pertama adalah intrakurikuler dan yang kedua adalah project penguatan profil pelajar Pancasila. Project to strengthen Pancasila student profile. Okay, the next. How to arrange learning guideline to in accordance with characteristic and need of the school. Bagaimana sekolah menyusun kurikulum operasional dari kurikulum Merdeka ini, kita lihat. Ya, Educational Unit Operational Curriculum. The government provide example of operational school curriculum that can be modified. Sekolah dapat memodifikasi kurikulum, perangkat kurikulum yang sudah diberikan oleh pemerintah. Ya. Kemudian menggunakan kurikulum itu sebagai referensi for educational unit in developing their operational curriculum. Okay, the next. Principle of operational curriculum development in educational unit. There are 5 characteristics, 5 principles. The first, learner-centered, berpusat pada peserta didik. Nah, ini yang di kurikulum Merdeka ada istilahnya pembelajaran berdiferensiasi. Differentiation learning. Yeah. The second, contextual, essential, accountable, involve various stakeholders. The next. Okay. What are the stages of implementation of Merdeka curriculum? Yeah. The government does not require education unit, require schools to implement the Merdeka curriculum. Pemerintah tidak mewajibkan menggunakan kurikulum Merdeka now, saat ini ya. Jadi the government does not require education unit to implement the Merdeka curriculum. Implementation of the Merdeka curriculum based on readiness of school. Jadi tergantung kesiapan sekolah. Maka pada saat ini ada sekolah yang masih menggunakan kurikulum 2013 dan ada sekolah yang sudah menggunakan kurikulum Merdeka. Oke, the next. Nah, There are 3 options. Sekolah dapat memilih 3 pilihan. The first option, kurikulum 2013, fully, penuh menggunakan kurikulum 2013. Option 2, emergency curriculum. And option 3, Merdeka curriculum. Okay. The next, school that choose the independent curriculum, its implementation can be depend on school readiness. Yeah. Jadi there are 3 choice for school to choice independent curriculum. Option 1, independent learning, merdeka belajar. The second, independent change, and the third, independent sharing. Jadi merdeka belajar, merdeka merdeka berubah, dan merdeka berbagi. Yeah, there are 3 options for school to choose merdeka curriculum by independently. Okay. What is the support government, Indonesia government, to provide school to implement merdeka curriculum? The next. Yeah, there are 6 support strategies from Indonesia government. The first, teacher and principal learn independently through Merdeka Mengajar platform. Merdeka Mengajar platform. The second, teacher and principal learn the Merdeka curriculum by following webinar series conducted government. Ya, jadi bisa mengikuti webinar series yang diselenggarakan oleh pemerintah. The next, teacher, before slide. Yeah. Teacher and principal learn the Merdeka curriculum inside learning community. Ya, banyak komunitas belajar yang ada di Indonesia itu sebagai salah satu strategi. Misalkan dalam bentuk MGMP, musyawarah guru mata pelajaran, atau dalam bentuk lainnya. Berikutnya, the next, teacher, yeah. Teacher and principal learn good practices through instructor who is recommended. Ya, jadi ada pakar dari sekolah atau ahli atau narasumber yang sudah direkomendasikan oleh pemerintah, dan itu kebanyakan mengambil dari sekolah penggerak. Apa ya bahasa Inggrisnya kalau sekolah penggerak? Ini agak repot ya bahasa Inggrisnya. Ya, jadi guru dan kepala sekolah dapat mengikuti seminar di mana narasumbernya merupakan guru atau kepala sekolah dari sekolah penggerak yang direkomendasikan oleh pemerintah. Okay, teacher and principal take advantage from help service center, help desk. Ada help desk to get more information about Merdeka curriculum. Jadi ada help desk yang disediakan oleh pemerintah, kapanpun guru atau kepala sekolah dapat menghubungi untuk mendapatkan informasi tentang kurikulum Merdeka. Okay? Teacher and principal work together with mitra pembangunan for the Merdeka curriculum implementation. What is the mitra pembangunan? Mitra pembangunan is NGO, non-government organization, to help government to implement Merdeka curriculum. Okay, the next. This is Merdeka Mengajar platform. Yeah. Teacher and principal can install Merdeka Mengajar platform in our gadget. Ya. Jadi guru dan kepala sekolah dapat menginstal platform Merdeka Mengajar di gadget, di HP sebagai sumber belajar. Jika guru tersebut have belajar ID email account. Jadi kalau punya email belajar ID, kalau tidak punya maka tidak bisa, ya. Karena ini memang khusus untuk guru, ya. Okay, conclusion. The first, learning crisis is a persistent problem in Indonesia, occurred even before the COVID-19 pandemic and was exacerbated by the learning situation during the pandemic. The crisis is indicated by relatively low learning outcome compared to many other countries, as well as real gap in the quality of learning. The Merdeka curriculum continues effort to simplify the curriculum, which began with the emergency curriculum, as well as effort to strengthen character of competence that have been started since the previous curriculum, 2013 curriculum. In general, the novelty of Merdeka curriculum, the first, deeper learning. So the student can achieve a minimum competency. The second, learning according to the stage of student achievement. The third, learning through project profil pelajar Pancasila. Pancasila student profile. Yeah. As an effort to restore learning, implementation of the Merdeka curriculum is not mandatory. Jadi tidak wajib bagi sekolah saat ini untuk menerapkan kurikulum Merdeka. Depend on readiness of school. Yeah. School can choose one of three curriculum, the 2013 curriculum, emergency curriculum, and Merdeka curriculum. Jadi pada saat ini sekolah di Indonesia itu menggunakan 3 kurikulum. Ya, jadi ini menurut saya sejarah di Indonesia ini ya, sejarah terbanyak ya menggunakan kurikulum terbanyak. Jadi pada saat ini sekolah di seluruh Indonesia menggunakan 3 pilihan kurikulum. The first 2013 curriculum, the second emergency curriculum, and the third Merdeka curriculum. Yeah. Okay. For the Merdeka curriculum, school can implement it according to their readiness. The government provide policy and technical support, including various resources for teacher on the Merdeka Mengajar platform. The regional government is expected to support and facilitate school to determine curriculum choice, study the Merdeka curriculum, and in process of implementing it according to the philosophy of this Merdeka curriculum. And the last, even though the curriculum influence the way teacher work, curriculum alone is not enough to solve the problem of learning loss, so that all written to the teacher. Jadi apapun kurikulumnya, kualitas pendidikan di Indonesia tetap ditentukan oleh siapa? Oleh guru sebagai eksekutor ya, sebagai edukatornya. Oke, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Bu Nur Fauzia. Please give applause to Bu Nur Fauzia. So thank you, Bu Nur. It's a wonderful material. Dr. Nur Fauzia was talking about Merdeka curriculum, kinds of curriculum implemented during pandemic and after pandemic. So, and then I also like the conclusion. So whatever curriculum we have, we implement in the schools, but the executor is the teacher. It depends on the teacher whether we successfully implement the curriculum or not. Yes, that's a nice conclusion. Thank you so much, Dr. Nur Fauzia. And now we will move to the next speaker. We have Dr. Farah Najia Muhammad Kaja here. Dr. Farah, can you hear me?
Yes, okay.
Okay. All right. So before Dr. Farah presenting her materials, I will read a short biography of Dr. Farah. Dr. Farah Najia Muhammad Kaja is a senior lecturer at University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. She has experience in training teachers to teach English as a second language for 20 years. Her present area of interest is in the use of technology in language learning, in particular in the development and adaptation of ESL materials. Dr. Farah is currently exploring the use of web-based electronic portfolios as a learning and assessment tool among pre-service ESL teachers. So, okay. For the audience, please have some notes and also please be quiet, okay? And for Dr. Farah, time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Paulina. All right. I'll just share my screen first, okay? Okay. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. The Excellency, Rector of UMG, distinguished guests, presenters, and participants of the second UMGCINMATIC conference. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to this conference and to allow me to share some of my experiences and best practices in looking at learning loss recovery. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me well? Is it okay?
Dr. Farah, I'm so sorry. Can you loud your voice, please?
Oh, okay. 1 second. Okay. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the title of my presentation is Steps to Recovery, and are we really back to normal? So unlike the other two presentations, I'm not dealing with policies or curriculum, but this is more of a hands-on presentation. So when we're looking at learning loss, before we can go into looking at learning loss, I thought it would be important for us to look at the teaching and learning context where I come from. So I teach at University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, and earlier on, I think you actually played a video of UPSI, right? So when we look at the teaching and learning context, right, in the COVID-19 emergency remote teaching or online situation, the question that I ask, or what comes to mind, would be, what did we do during COVID? And then and now it's post-COVID, and what are we doing now? So in UPSI, we practice blended learning. So when we talk about learning loss, it's as if it's the understanding actually that when we have learning loss, there are ways to restore learning that were lost between COVID and also the when they come to the post-COVID situation. Now I'm using a figure here, right, that I thought would be would help narrow the scope of the presentation. So when we talk about learning loss, it is this area here where we have the typical learning and then learning during COVID. So what happens here? This is the learning that's lost, and this is the learning that we intend to restore. All right. And if you look at the literature, all right, I've just summarized it here for this presentation. Some factors that may account for the loss of learning would be, number one, learning environment itself. We work away from our offices, the same thing, students don't go to our university, they study from home, and we have to look at the home environment. How is the home environment? I know that many of my students, they come back and they said that, they couldn't really study. And then we've got a few students who actually failed all papers because the learning environment that they were in were just, it was just too difficult for them, all the family members in the house, and internet was such a problem. Okay, so internet will be access to learning, whether or not they were able to access learning from where they are. So internet connection, all right, if the internet is poor, the connection is poor, so they won't be able to connect to the platform that we use. They won't be able to do online learning or follow online classes. Right, and the third one will be teaching methods. All right, so when we learn online, the method that we use would be a bit different. When we teach face to face, it's different. So not only do students have to accept or to familiarize with the teaching methods when they go online and when they learn from home, but they also have to understand that we lecturers also have to adjust, because we were not trained. When we did our teacher training, we were not trained to teach online. But this is, again, an emergency situation where we have to take the necessary measures, to make sure that learning continues. All right. So these are some of the factors that I will also look into in my presentation, right? Now, a little bit about teaching and learning in UPSI. Okay, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris is a teacher training university, and it has taken the lead in training teachers online by using a multiple learning management system. It was in year 2000. So in 2020, when COVID happened, we were already 20 years ahead. We've already used this for 20 years. Right, and then later UPSI actually came up with a customized system called My Guru, which means my teacher in English. Okay, and it has been a policy in UPSI for lecturers to use My Guru and for lecturers to achieve 100% blended learning mode. So we've got like a scale, and the scale will tell us how many percent of blended learning we have achieved. Right, and during the pandemic, in My Guru itself, we've got links to Google Meet and WebEx platforms where we set up to facilitate online conferencing with our students. And in addition to that, My Guru was also, if I were to say, set up with online assessment, and which when we did our alternative assessment, students would use the same My Guru platform. So everything is stored in My Guru, their assessment and the way we actually mark our assessment on My Guru as well. Okay, so this is a little bit about the teaching and learning environment in UPSI. Now, what happened? Okay, so earlier on in the slide, I said that, what did we do during COVID? So these were some of the things that we did. Not only did we have to teach online. Okay, so there are many things that we have to look into when we teach online. But these are the university initiative to make sure that everyone has access to learning. All right. Firstly, we ensure that students have access to learning content to the point that if you are in a remote area, we will actually print the materials and post it to you. If you say that you do not have a computer, or your electricity is a problem, all right, we print the materials, okay, for you. If you have your computer but you don't have internet, we will download the materials and we will post you the USB. Also, if you request, for data, we will provide you with prepaid data cards so that you can go online and use that for your online learning. We also allow somewhere, not the earlier stages where we are all quarantined, but after that, we allow students with unfavorable living conditions to return to campus. So they actually learn from campus instead of from their homes. Of course, one of the initiative is we practice alternative assessment. So we do not have final exams. We have a final assessment, and it's always project-based to consider that some students will need extra time to complete their assignment. Okay, so these are some of my thoughts when I was looking at the topic learning loss. Okay, so were our efforts enough to maintain quality learning for our students? That was one of the things that I thought about. And then what are their perceptions on the learning that took place during COVID? And that brought about to, now that they are back, what are their needs? And how can we help them fulfill the needs? So I was thinking that, okay, we need to have a study on this. So we'll start with our own practices. Okay, so this is something that's very hands-on, that maybe some of you who are teachers, who are also lecturers, you can actually look into this in your own teaching environment. Okay, so this brought about some initial questions, right? Taking into consideration factors contributing to learning loss that I have identified earlier on, like learning environment, access to learning, and teaching methods. Okay, these are some of the questions that I had. Okay, the first one, were they able to participate online during the pandemic? So we have to find out first if they were actually able to participate online. And when they were able, or if they were able, what was the most challenging aspect of learning remotely? And what are their feelings like when learning remotely or when completing assignments? So we have to know how they feel and what they are, we have to know what they have experienced, okay, generally. What should be focused on when helping students towards recovery? So when we know their background, their experience, then we can focus on how to help them. What type of support do they need, and how do we provide that support? So these are some of my initial questions. So this is getting into the study that is still in progress. Okay, so who are my participants? At this point of time, December 2022, I managed to get 61 TESOL undergraduate students to return the questionnaires that I've distributed. Okay, and these students, these TESOL undergraduates, are first time face-to-face. This is the first time that they are back on campus for semester 3 and semester 5 in a face-to-face mode. And so far, I managed to get 24 semester 3 students and 37 semester 5 students. All right, we have actually over 200 students. So I'm still waiting for the feedback from them, okay? Their responses, I mean. All right, at this point of time, this week, all right, they have experienced 9 weeks of lecture on campus, and they are all, these students are enrolled in the Instruction, Technology and Assessment 1 course, which is a prerequisite course before they actually are allowed to go for their teaching practice. So they're all going to be teachers, and they're going to go out to schools on their teaching practice. They have to take this course and pass this course first. All right, so there is a unique criteria to this group of students or the group of participants here, which is normal for them is the online learning, okay? But new to them is the face-to-face learning, because when they enroll into the course or the university, they were doing it online. So this is the first time that they are back in a face-to-face mode. So how do I collect information? So generally, I'm going to do this in 3 phases. All right, we have almost completed phase 1, which is the questionnaire. All right, collecting data through questionnaire. The next one will be interviews. All right, then the final one, which should actually be about 3 months in 3 months, will be the assessment. So we have to look at the exam results to know for sure how they did. Okay, so the time frame from the study is December 2022 to March 2023. And this is actually a subcomponent of a language learning portfolio project, where what we want is for us to look into how we can help students who have problems in learning. But and one of the factors would be learning loss, because they experienced COVID and COVID stage, and so they're back, and so there might be some learning loss there. Okay, so the first question that I had earlier on what were our efforts? Were our efforts enough to maintain quality learning for our students? So I've got the results from the 61 students. So the question was, were you able to participate in online learning? So for most of them, 96.7% of them, yes, they were. And I asked further why or what was the reason. Mainly, it was good connection at home. So they did not have any internet connection. Not any, but only a few had internet connection at home. And then I did ask them also, do you feel that you have missed out on learning when you had to learn remotely? And then from their responses, 39.3% said yes, but 60.7% said no. So the ones that said yes, they had problems, was because the internet becomes unstable, there was outside distraction, unable to interact with others, to compete to complete tasks. Because, for example, they might be in class when the lecturer is online, in the online class, but when they had to do maybe group work, they couldn't actually get in touch with their group mates. Okay. Next, do you feel that you have lost a lot of learning opportunities while learning remotely off campus? So they said yes, 63.9% said yes, and 36.1% said no. All right. Do you think that you were able to catch up on the missed learning? So because they said they missed out learning, so were they able to catch up? And then 18% said no, but 82%, so most of them said yes, they were able to catch up. Why? Because they were video recordings of missed lessons. So even if they could not attend the online class live, they had the videos to watch later on, and then they had shared materials and resources on the internet. So they actually did a lot of self-learning as well. Do you feel that your lecturers have done enough to make sure you achieve quality learning during your remote learning period? And 95%, more than 95% said yes, right? And do you feel that your lecturers have done enough to make sure that you receive quality learning now that you're back? And they also said yes, 96.7%. So I'm going to move on the second question that I had in mind, which is what are the perceptions of the learning that took place during COVID-19? So what are their feelings like, for example? So there are positive feelings and there are also negative feelings. So some of the positive feelings that they shared with me was that I was comfortable with the online learning sessions, okay? They were presented in slides and more focused. They felt satisfied with the classes. It was very convenient. I'm happy with online learning, okay? Some also said that it was quite a roller coaster of emotions, but I feel happy during online class. But there were also some negative comments that I received. So they do feel a lot, they feel stressful, okay, when the internet slows down for some of them, and then which in turn affects their motivation. All right, and they also found it a bit difficult to adapt to online learning, all right, because it was also their first semester in the university and they had to experience learning in a mode that they're not familiar at all, because throughout their lives, they would have gone through face-to-face learning. All right, and it was also mixed feelings because they were staying home, but they had to sit in front of the screen at all times. So the next two questions that I had or I was thinking about was, now that they are back, what are their needs and how can we help them fulfill their needs? So the question that I asked was, what do you think is the most important support you need from your lecturer for now? Okay, so it's quite interesting that they need moral support. Okay, that the support that they point out is moral support. So this was mentioned by at least 4 students that was interviewed. Okay, because they said that moral support because students feel down most of the time and they are a bit stressed out and it's not easy to adapt. And finally, they need our moral support because they want that human factor, okay, to be able to talk to someone and to actually share their problems. Okay. They also mentioned what they need right now is guidance on doing assignments. So it was also mentioned by at least 4 students that were interviewed because they need guides on assignment, and now that they are face-to-face, the assignments are also the same. So we have to understand that when they were online, they had alternative assessment. It was a different type of assessment from the assignments that they have now. And then I guess that is why they need guidance, or they mentioned that they need guidance on their assignments. Other significant findings that I would like to share is their need for social interaction. They actually mentioned this, when we asked them that they actually want social interaction, and then they really need to adapt not only to their learning environment in the lecture room, but overall on campus, the university life itself. And they also need learning to present assignments because it is like I mentioned before, it's a new form of assessment. So they need to know how are they going to present their assignments now that it's in a face-to-face mode. Okay, so this is just a very short summary of what I was able to gather from the data that I've collected so far. So students are able to cope well academically upon returning to campus. So what we can do is we can carry on blended learning initiatives, but we have to make sure that the transition is slow. So probably more blended than face-to-face and move on to more face-to-face interaction. Right. The next point that I got was that from the summary of the data that I got is that they value the social interaction that takes place while learning. So what we can do is we can design assignments to promote group or collaborative learning. It was also mentioned that there is an urgent need to orientate them to the needs of face-to-face learning. So we have to take the necessary measures to enlighten them. What are the characteristics of face-to-face learning. For example, right now there are lots of presentation in class which they're not used to. For them who have never had experience in a university and having to present in front of so many people or so many other students, I noticed that many of our students have anxiety issues. Moral support is also equally important as academic support. So we must actually try to provide them a non-threatening learning environment when they come back. And guidance is much needed in a new learning environment. So the learning environment is new, so we have to raise the awareness that, hey, what you thought was your normal learning, which was online, now it's no longer normal. So our normal now is the face-to-face learning. So we have to help them to adjust to that. Okay, so based on what I have so far, on the data collected so far, so there are still areas that we can look into. For example, we can look into the specific skills and knowledge areas that needs to be improved. We can also look at their study habits during COVID-19. How did they study when they were at home? Okay, and how are they studying now? Perhaps they cannot really well, perhaps they need to adjust the way they study now to fit the situation now. Has their overall learning improved or declined? And this is a very interesting question, but we need a bit of time to find out, whether their learning actually improved in the face-to-face environment, or did they actually what do you call that? They perform better when they were at home and during COVID. Okay. All right, so that would be my last slide. Okay, thank you very much. And I've put my email here in case if you'd like to contact me and ask me questions or give me feedbacks and suggestions. Back to you, Bu Paulina.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Farah. It's very interesting. And also, actually, what you have explained, like some problems that occurs in Malaysia, actually, we also the same problem here in Indonesia. And of course, also in Thailand, it also happens, right? Yes. So once again, thank you, Dr. Farah. And for everyone, please give applause to Dr. Farah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So now we will move to the next speaker, and we have Dr. Wanida here. First, I would like to read her biography. Dr. Wanida Simpon is a supervisor of a supervision, monitoring, and evaluation for Educational Provision Group, LEI Primary Educational Service Area Office to Thailand. She has an experience in teaching English for 14 years, and she finished Master of Education in Educational Research and Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Measurement and Evaluation. So she is also a researcher of the Office of the Basic Education Commission, or OBEC. She passed the training for the trainers in research course of the National Research Council of Thailand and got Outstanding Research Award. She is professional in academic work, so she funded from National Institute of educational testing service, and her works have been disseminated in several journals and sites. She loves to coach teachers to develop English teaching and to do action research too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Wanida Simpun from Thailand.
Thank you very much, Ms. Parina. Selamat pagi, ladies and gentlemen. Nadirotu, Director, Ms. Parina, Dr. Noor. It is a very great pleasure that I will visit your university today, and it is a great opportunity that we have the academic collaboration together, and it's very special occasion for everyone here today. In Thailand, we have the same problem until we meet COVID-19 for 2 years. So in my area, we have awareness about the learning problem of students. So we have solved the problem by the research project. Thus we start from, we decide to apply the design-based research in education. Can you show my slide? Okay, the topic that I will share you today is the design research in learning loss recovery innovation to prevent student dropout in the primary educational service area of Phase 2. Okay, for the 2 years part, we know that the COVID-19 have effect to everyone in the world, especially the student. So we meet from the survey, we saw the student miss the class time. In Thailand, the student have 200 days for study for 1 year. But when the school closed, the student miss the class, they can't access the learning. Someone have a problem with online. The same in Malaysia and also Indonesia. So the next problem is mental health. Some students stay in a family. They live with not parent, just grandparent or grandfather or grandmother. So they don't see the friend. Someone feel burn out of learning. So it's a big problem. And the next is learning behavior. Sorry, my slide is not shown now. It's not moved. Okay, the next problem is about the technology use behavior or ICT literacy. The student have to have learning online, but some students don't learn, but they search for other information, especially game. So they have a problem about addicted to the game. No immunity in using technology. And another problem is about social skill and interaction. Because the students don't come to the class, so they stay in home and no activity about learning to develop their skill. So they lost about the social skill too. The next problem is about coming to school or attending the class. Many students feel burnt out and don't want to come to school after the long closure of the school. And so this is a problem for the student go away from the education system, or maybe we call student dropout. There are many hundred in Thailand, especially in my educational office too. So our office designed the project and we create the team to help the student and our school in in the area. We have 152 schools. Most of them are primary school and also 52 secondary school. We plan and form the team of research. We have a meeting to prepare the team for every district. That we have 6 districts in our area. And then after we plan for the team and we have the proposal for our work, the first we want to solve the learning loss problem and behavior and also student mental health. And the next is want to organize the operational system to recover the learning loss problem through the research process. And the third, we would like to promote the problem solving creatively until educational innovation occur. Thus, we expect the 3 levels of the innovation. The first is the district level, and then is the school level, and the last one is classroom level. That is focused on the teaching activity by teacher. Okay, let's move to the methodology. In this research, we apply design research in education conducted during February to September 2022. Okay, the first we start in February for the research design and researcher team preparation. Now we have the meeting for the district level and the educational office level for the team of research. And then we have a meeting with the school administrator to make understanding between school and our office. And then the school administrator have to make understanding between teacher in the school. This we call professional learning community that the school principal will do at school with their teacher. For in April, we start the research project by we call the analysis and survey. This step we start from survey the problem of the student and grouping them. Now we divided the student into 3 groups. The first group is a serious problem, is we call risk group. They have a problem about learning before the COVID-19 and also have a serious about necessary don't come to school because necessary of family. And the 2 groups we call recovering group. This group can pass the curriculum indicator more than half, more than 50%. And then the last group we call encouraging group, that they can pass more than 50% of the indicator of the curriculum. And then in May, we continue the phase 2, that is design and development. This is the step for school to decide the recovering program in short term and long term by use design thinking step. I will explain in the next slide for the design thinking. Okay. After we have the design thinking, we start for emphasize. The emphasize means teacher and administrator will understand the student problem, what the limitation, what they need, to move to define define the problem, to think the guideline or the method to help the student. And then we have continued to the PLC meeting to create the idea to find innovation that appropriate for student and class and all school. And then they create a prototype. That is the material or some technology that will help them. And then the phase 3, slowly please, this backward. Okay, let's move again, one slide. Another back. Okay, thank you. In September, we have evaluation and reflection. That's we have the team of supervision to site visit at school and also have the final meeting with AAR technique to reflect our activity. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay. When the student finish design thinking, they will bring the prototype to test or action every school, and the team of research will help them. Okay, let's move to the result. From the research, we found that the group of students is the most encouraging. This is luckily for Thai students. Yeah, for this group, we have about 55% of the students, and then recovery group, we have about 30%, and the risk group is about 12%. This is we survey by the screening of Department of Health tool to screen the student. And then we meet about the stressful and mental health in the next slide. This is the standard tool of Ministry of Health were used to screen students for stress and mental health problem. We found that a little bit student has problem. The most number is in Puluang district. Okay. The result about the student needs that we meet for the next slide, please. We found that the student wants flexible learning. Some students cannot come to school because of the necessity of family. So they want to study blended learning, or someone come to school or not all week. So the next is scholarship. That is very necessary for poor students. And then learning activity that promote the happiness for students because the school closed very long. And then the personalized education or individual program for disability students, and also the learning disability student is very necessary. And then we found that the student want to encourage or motivation in study. Another is the basic skill. The student have lot for mathematics and also Thai language and also English. So they want to improve the basic skill to prepare for the higher education. And then the digital literacy is very important, because that I said the first, the students don't have immunity for learning for technology using. And the last one is drug, because some students live in the bad environment and risk to drug. So is it important to connect the other agency for help and protect the student from drugs? Okay, let's move to the next slide. For the result that we do that activity, we found that every school attend the project and they can design the innovation to help the student for 147 schools. That is very good to act in the project. And for the classroom level, we have about 1,200 innovation for teacher that the student create in our project. Okay, next, let's move to the student learning. We found that after we act the innovation at school, we found that the student learning is better because they improve knowledge, skill, and attribute. They have preparation and ready to study more than in the past. And learning behavior. Some students want to come to school and the class attendance statistic is increased. The students sent more homework and student undesirable behavior was decreased. Okay, was reduced. The next is interaction and social skill. The students are more happier in learning and more participate in learning activity. And for the fourth, it's about the stakeholder satisfaction. The parent show the satisfaction in the activity because the students love to come to school and they decrease the problem about learning. So for the recommendation in the further research, in the next slide for recommendation, we would like to focus on the first group. For the risk group, we need to continue the treatment for them because this group is a serious problem, so we have to continue until now. And then for academic leadership for the principal is very important because the school principal is the head of school. They have to contact and make understanding with teacher to design activity to help the student. And then we focus on the capacity or ability of teacher to design the new innovation. Now we still use the same activity, the same material, but we have more awareness to help and think creative innovation. And the last one, I think this activity, we have to all school emphasize to add more time to help students. So we have a problem about workload. So if possible, I think the integrated learning is better than we add more time because the student will not use for a long time in study. They will be happier. Okay, this is our conclusion for the experience that we learned together in Thailand. Okay, thank you very much to have me to share my experience today.
Thank you, Dr. Wanida. Please give applause to Dr. Wanida. That's an interesting implementation that you have conducted together in Thailand, especially in Loi province, right? Yes, so congratulations on your achievement actually on this project. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Wanida. For everyone, please stay, okay? And we will have the next speaker. We have Dr. Janet C. Benpure. Dr. Janet, are you here with us?
Yes, good morning. Okay, permission to share my screen.
Hello, Dr. Janet. Okay. Hi,
Yes.
how are you, Dr. Janet?
I'm good. Thank you.
So Before presenting the materials, I would like to read information about Dr. Janet. Okay, so Dr. Janet C. Benque is the Dean of the College of Engineering and Technology of Visayas State University, Philippines. And Dr. Janet also does research in remote sensing and geodesy and surveying. And also in cartography. And her most recent publication is Factors Affecting Decision Making in Land Valuation Process using AHP, a case in the Philippines. So I hope that Dr. Janet can share us the best practice in learning loss recovery in Philippines. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Janet C. Benque.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to share my screen.
Dr. Janet, can you loud your voice, please?
Oh, okay. Allow me to share my screen. Am I audible now? Hello?
Yes. Okay.
Am I audible?
Okay, it's better.
Okay. See, permission to share my screen. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's good afternoon here in the Philippines. And I would like to thank this opportunity to thank the organizer, Dr. Paulina, for giving me opportunity to share our experiences and practices in the Visayas State University and in the Philippines, particularly in the Visayas State University. So I am Janet C. Benque, the Dean of the College of Engineering and Technology of the Visayas State University, Philippines. So the title of my presentation is Distance Learning Education, Distance Engineering Education, Learning Loss and Recovery, Experience and Practices of the Visayas State University, Philippines. So unlike in the previous presentations or presenters, wherein they presented some output or results of the research, but here I am just presenting our experiences and practices that we did to address the learning loss. The outline of my presentation are the following. For a while it's hanged. Okay. So first, I would like to provide the overview of the Visayas State University just for the information of everyone. I would like to share the experiences and challenges related to learning disruptions brought by COVID and also other calamities. I would like also to impart the practices employed in the university, particularly in engineering programs during and post-pandemic, to respond and recover learning loss. And I would like also to share some ways forward and sort of reflections out of this experience and practices that we implemented. So I would like to describe first what is learning loss or what is the presentation all about, because learning loss is too broad. So I would like to limit on learning loss in the context of this expected outcomes that the student can do after taking the course and upon completing a degree program. So it is measured in knowledge, skills, and attitude. I would like to give you an overview about the Philippines during the onset of pandemic and also the current situation. So as of at the end of December 2020, we have 473, at least 473,000 cases. That is around like 0.1% relative to the world data. And as of December 26, we reach into 4 million COVID cases versus the world that is 662 million COVID cases. And how the government addressed to this pandemic. So we implemented, or the government in the Philippines implemented granular or localized policies to control pandemic through interagency task force and emerging infectious diseases. So in every local governments, there is an interagency task force that is monitoring the situation of the pandemic so that proper policies will be implemented in that municipality or locality. I would like to share for a while. The glance now, I would like to share a glance of the Visayas State University. So it is one of the 102 state colleges and universities in the Philippines. It is located in the eastern Visayas of the Philippines. So it is located in the province, not in the capital city of the Philippines. So VSU envisioned to be globally competitive university for science, technology, and environmental conservation. Along with that, it is supported by its missions, development of a highly competitive human resource, cutting-edge scientific knowledge, and innovative technologies, sustainable communities, and environment. So what we did, so this is the situation, this is the whole Philippines, and this is the locations of the 5 campuses of the Visayas State University. So we have 4 satellite campuses, and I am at the main campus, consisting of main campus consisting of 9,000, at least 9,000 students. For the satellite campuses, it consists of 1,300. That is for the 1,300, and there is also 2,000, 1,400, and 800 student populations enrolled in that particular satellite campuses. So a total of around 15,000 students at the VSU system. So 2020, 2021, and 2022 are quite challenging for the Visayas State Universities. I think this is and this is not what is this alone. VSU is not alone, but all educations institutions globally are also experiencing through or due to COVID-19 pandemic. Aside from that, because of our location of the university, we are in the middle of the Philippines, wherein the typhoon is the favorite path of the typhoon. So we are also subjected now of natural calamities such as heavy rainfall, typhoon that caused to flood and landslide. Okay, so I will discuss first on the COVID, when it was started on the suspensions of classes in the Philippines. So it was started in March 7, wherein only the Metro Manila, that is the capital city of the Philippines, who started the face-to-face class suspension. And then later on, like a week ago, or almost a week ago, the class suspension was extended to our area, to the province, wherein VSU is included. And then in April 21, that is a month after, the suspension of all face-to-face classes of the entire Philippines is suspended. So meaning to say, CHED, or the Commission on Higher Education, issued a memorandum ordering all state universities and colleges to shift into online learning or flexible learning. So it was really new to us. Also in December 16, 2021, that is last year, we experienced the super typhoon Rai. We call it Odette PH, wherein the center is also part in our area. And the picture here is one of the dormitories in the VSU that is hit by the tree. And also we have the public market that is also hit by or damaged by the typhoon. Another, this year, April 10, we also experienced heavy rainfall due to Agaton or Typhoon Migi. which causes 3 landslides in the area, particularly in our place in the main campus. And heavy, aside from landslides, there's also damages to agriculture and also about power lines and of course internet connectivity. So those COVID-19 pandemic, natural calamities bring us a lot of challenges that cause learning disruptions. So with this, we asked our students through survey on what are their challenges met during the implementation of online classes. So the experience on no or poor internet connectivity, this is true to, I believe this is also true to other countries. But in Leyte, where in the Visayas State University is located, our place is remote area, so the internet connectivity is also not so good, especially for our students that are located or residing in the remote areas. Other students have lack of gadgets, so they don't have even mobile phone or laptop to perform or to do the online class. They also have, in terms of the faculty members, or this is also true to learners, they also have technological barriers wherein they don't have experience yet in exploring or using online platform. And then of course, students are experiencing unfavorable environment because they are staying at their home and then they are prone to disruptions, a noisy environment, and etc. So this is just a support and the claim that due to internet connectivity. So Visayas State University is located in Region 8. So the picture here shows the strength of the internet in rural area and urban. So as you can see, around 27% of the population in rural areas have access to at least 3.2 Mbps. So this is the standard Mbps wherein you can say that there is really a sufficient or enough internet connectivity. And we have only 26 or around 27% of population. In urban areas, there are around 50, but still it is quite low. In terms of fixed broadband internet access, same thing. Region 8 is way downward than the National Capital Region. So it's around 44% in rural areas that is have internet connectivity that is good, that is at least 3.2 Mbps, and then around 79% in the urban population that has a good internet connectivity. And in terms of another experience that we have is that our students are not really well off, unlike in private universities, big universities in the Philippines, wherein they can pay the tuition and school fees. But in here, students are free. They are come here for free. So these are the students that coming from so-called low-income family. So in terms of wealth index and internet speed in the Philippines, here you can see that the area where our students are coming from, majority of our students coming from, are low speed. It's in darker region, and low speed and low wealth. So meaning to say, these areas are where the students or people located with low wealth index and low internet speed. And if you look at the average download speed between richest and poorest Philippine cities, so we can see here that there is a big disparity between the wealthy cities and the poor cities. So it's around 21 Mbps difference, and this one is around 19 Mbps difference. So this is really a big difference. So our also in terms of This is a location relative to the Mbps or the internet speed with respect to the wealthy and poorest areas. So the brown color represent population that are accessing at least Mbps and then up to 100% of population. So I presented this one because our policies, our practices are based on the status of our students, the needs of our students. So this is also in support. This is very true to our university, especially and other universities that are located in remote areas or also in the province, and with students that are comparatively low or belongs to the low income. So based on those situation, the VSU implemented immediate response. So I enumerated here based on the main functions of the university to start with the instructions. So synchronous learning or synchronous online classes using teleconferencing was adapted and immediately implemented a week after the suspension. That is a week after March 13 of 2023. Also, and later on, the flexible learning modality that is through synchronous or asynchronous were also implemented, wherein students are can freely access or independently access the learning materials uploaded in our platform. Also, as to address the technological barriers of our faculty members who doesn't have any knowledge or skills in using this platform. So we conducted series of trainings for instructors to improve the teaching delivery. And we have also implemented the academic ease policy. Example is the delay of deadline, the extension of deadline submission of student outputs, and we have this no failing policy, and then we have to extend. We give sufficient leniency to our students in terms of their performance, and also we in the later part of this year, in the earlier part of 2022. We implemented the face-to-face or limited face-to-face class for critical courses. So when we say critical courses, these are courses or subjects of engineering programs that requires laboratory or that has laboratories activities, wherein the home performing laboratory exercises at home is impossible. So we have implemented these face-to-face classes, bring the students and then conduct this certain exercises. In terms of administration support, so we converted, or some faculty members and staff were into work from home scheme. This is to avoid the spread of COVID-19 virus. And there is also a mandatory preparation of student learning guides. So from March 13 down to August 2020, we are delivering our lessons through flexible learning. And also we are preparing the student learning guides for our students to access anytime and everywhere. And aside from that, the university supported us to provide laptops and digital pen for instructors. And also, since this was, we also ensure, or the university ensure the work and life balance. So there is also a conduct of mental wellness activity, such as the Wellness Week. And then there is also an online consultation for faculty and staff, and of course, students to address their situations or their problems. In terms of extension activities, we provided or trained instructors, professors in flexible learning technologies such as Zoom, Google Meet, and Moodle, We also subscribe to Google Meet, Google and Moodle, and also Zoom to be used as our platform. Some instructors were also giving financial assistance to students for buying mobile internet access. So one of the limitations here is that they might have internet connectivity in their place, but they don't have any money to buy. So some instructors that have very good heart share their share or give financial assistance to buy mobile internet access, especially during the assessment or examination. And in terms of research, because we want also to monitor our students, how are they performing, we conducted brief or not brief, ongoing until it's ongoing relationship of academic performance, focusing on the pre-calculus and study our spend and location, because we want to determine if there is really an impact on their performance with regards to the internet connectivity. So we choose pre-calculus because pre-calculus is the bridging program for engineering programs of the Philippines. So we have this K-12 wherein there will be no more basic foundation engineering mathematics in the college, but they can learn that because they can learn that during their senior high school or secondary high school. But due to the pandemic and also these situations that we have, like there is also an acceptance of non-STEM students to the program. So we need to have this bridging program of pre-calculus. We also conducted on challenges. We want to know what are the challenges, the perceptions of the students on student learning modality, what are their coping strategies, and in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. These are some pictures that I mentioned a while ago, that we give free printed learning modules or student guides to the students who are not accessible by the internet. So we deliver this to the respective municipality, and then the municipality contacted our students to give this learning guides, printed learning guides. So we also install learning drop box in the campus because we are not allowed, or students are not allowed to get inside the campus. So in the highway and the entrance, we put or install learning drop box wherein the students can put their output, and then for us or for the faculty members or instructors to check. And aside from that, before the start of the class, we conducted student onboarding, wherein the students are oriented on what are the expectations that they may encounter, or how, when, or whom to reach if they encounter these problems. And also, this is true to undergraduate students and graduate students. This is another programs or we did is the implementation of the learning management system of VSU. So during the first 3 months of the COVID-19, we have this variety of learning management system depending on the faculty preferences. But then after like 5 months of the onset of COVID, we have this learning management system of VSU, wherein students can access, and then faculty members can upload the materials, can give their assessments and other learning activities. And at present, we converted this into, aside from the web browser, we also have this mobile version of the e-learning environment of the Visayas State University. Now, so those are the common challenges that met in general of the programs under the Visayas State University. However, I would like to focus on the challenges in engineering education, because remote delivery of technical courses of engineering and technology programs are challenging. because students are expected to acquire the essential skills and competencies through hands-on experience with the equipment. However, if they are learning at home, there is no equipment there. So meaning to say there is no home staff substitute for performing the necessary skills. So what we did, so during the onset of the pandemic, we made several video tutorials of computational technical courses and laboratory classes uploaded in YouTube for the students to access anytime. And we also collaborate with private and public agencies within the student's town or municipality for them to practice the actual laboratory activities. Another collaboration is with the training and research institutes that provides online yet actual work experiences. So we did a lot of collaborations just to to address the skills that are lost due to the disruption. And the pandemic, so last year or just this semester, last September 2022, the full face-to-face classes is implemented in the Visayas State University. So before that, we conducted series of mental awareness forum for the students in order for them to prepare, in order for them to be oriented with the universities, and then what are the possible problems and whom they will be consulted or consulting if they encounter these problems. We also assess their skills specific to the program. Okay, so these are some of the pictures that we implemented. So we have the mental health month, and then we have the we call it We Have Your Back. So these are the online consultation services of the student support services. We also have School on the Air on visual arts or mental health and environment. So, and these are just sample. And in terms of learning, the College of Engineering, we have this catch-up learning wherein we focus on the most essential learning competencies that are missed during the pandemic. How we do that? So we embed in higher technical courses, and then instead of directly introducing the higher level of difficulty, we introduce first the basic or the very foundation of the course. We also conducted remedial classes with the help of other students, student organizations to address the learning loss. We also have this concept point recovery, wherein the students, after assessment, they will explain their errors and mistakes, and from that they will learn where did they get the error, how they have this error, and how to correct their error. So in that way, they can retain what is the concept all about of the topic. And we also have this videos on for engineering. We have this navigating city building and face-to-face class simulation. This is presented during the orientation of the students, like how to navigate the campus, because most of them are the first time to come to the campus. So the campus is big enough, so we need to have this navigating or simulation of face-to-face classes, such as the path walk, and then there's no such as where to wash the hands, where to sanitize your hands, and then where to the path or the route or traffic flow of the students when they come to the campus. So way forward, so these are based on our experiences and the implementations that we conducted just to address the learning loss. I can say that COVID-19 pandemic has affected the whole world and influences the various sectors for longer time. However, it also enabled us to discover shortcomings and inequalities, especially in our educational system. So in that way, it allows us to change our educational directions and priorities. What should be the focus in 21 skills? In case, what should be the focus? What should be the directions? In case there will be other pandemic, in case there will be other calamities that will visit the country. So for VSU, this is just recommendations, or actually we are looking at converting some learning facilities into smart classrooms to support the blended learning mode of engineering education in the near future. For the government, it is recommended that they may invest in facilities that support blended learning. And for accreditation body, because when we talk about globally competitive, you must be the program. We aim also that our programs are nationally and internationally accredited. So I would like to share this one by this ACBSP organization to focus on the 4 critical areas in measuring or in evaluating the quality. Number 1, in online teaching learning activities, on how the students, is there really engagement or interaction during the student or during the teaching learning activities between the learners and the instructors. The second is the student support. How are the students supported in terms of academic, in terms of moral or emotional? So that should be the questions that can be added or can be asked by the accreditation body. In terms of financial aspect, this is true to all, like there is always a limited funding. So maybe the accreditation body, like we ask, like how the institutions plan to support the quality or to maintain the quality of education. And in governance, like how do we assess or how do we ensure that the students are really equipped with the necessary skills, knowledge, and attitude when they finish the course and when they finish the program. And again, thank you, and that's thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Janet. Okay, so yeah, give applause to Dr. Janet. So Dr. Janet, that's really interesting to see your slide. And then you also have e-learning application that we can download from the Play Store. That's really interesting. And then also, I'm so sorry for the typhoon as well. I heard many news from my friend that Philippines has typhoon last time. So, and thank you once again for Dr. Janet. And for the audience, we still have the last speaker. Okay, please stay here. And our last speaker is Dr. Rangsan Wibonupatam. Okay. He is an education specialist, UNICEF in Thailand. Hello, Dr. Rangsan, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Sawadee krap. Assalamu alaikum to all of you there. Yes.
It's so nice to meet you, Dr. Rangsan.
Yes.
Are you ready to present?
I'm ready. I will share screen from my side, so don't worry to share from your end. Okay.
You want to share the slide yourself? Okay.
Yes.
So I will read a short biography from Dr. Rangsan. Okay, and his areas of work in UNICEF cover education system strengthening, quality of education improvement, as well as equitable education areas in Thailand. Before joining UNICEF Thailand, he was a computer specialist at the Bureau of Information and Communication Technology, Office of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, and has experiences in education as a teacher, academician at district and provincial levels. Dr. Rangsan graduated from Florida State University in the International and Intercultural Education Development and holds a master's degree in educational measurement and evaluation and bachelor's degree with first-class honors from Konkan University. He was awarded a Distinguished Alumni from College of Education, Florida State University in 2022, and also an Outstanding Alumni Award from Konkan University in 2017. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Rangsan Wiponupatam.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very honored, and then I listened to all presentation with great interest. I think today event is very dear to heart of UNICEF and also teachers around the world, because it's happened, like almost a year, right, after the pandemic. But basically, the pandemic is still going on and has impact on us. So what I would like to touch on is really picking back from what this morning when Dr. T. Pawangkanan from Basic Education Commission, he mentioned two very significant person in Thailand. The first one is the Deputy Prime Minister, Prawit Wongsuwan, who addressed on what is the Thai Royal government commitment on the investing in the national education development to come. Basically, he touched on 5 themes, but the very, very right to this moment is the first one, is the road to recovery from COVID-19. Regardless, all presenter, you have touched on university level, student level, as well as across all the schools. And also basically, we could also look from the early childhood development. But perhaps next time we can also see how that's actually a starting point when we want to actually restore learning capacity of our students. And then I'm very glad that I think every single speaker have touched on the mental health. And actually start from when Dr. T mentioned that when Thailand looked at the impact of COVID-19, the mental health actually emerged from students themselves. They actually touched on this one. And then I could see that all presenter actually linked to this dimension and try to look from education development from the holistic point of view. So the one that you hear this morning, basically there are a lot of type of instruction. Basically, this one is started from UNICEF that they survey around 150 schools, and it launched early this year in March, right? But you can see that the way that we can cope up with the learning loss, we could increase instructional time. We can conduct individual self-envelopment program. We can do tutoring or coaching scheme. We can also accelerated learning program to ensure that students, they can catch up with the learning that they have lost. And also they also catch up program for dropout. This one actually touched very much from Dr. Wanida presentation from Le, that Le tried to actually ensure that those students who are potentially risk of dropping out, we need to get them back to school. This is one of a fine example. So this one, you can see that in the UNICEF, we want to promote that first, you reach to every child, that to get them back to a school setting. Now, as you can see, example from Le province, from Dr. Wadida mentioned, that's the first thing that they want to do, to make sure that every child can come back to school healthy and safely. And then assess the learning level. This is quite important because as a teacher, as an educator, or you are architecture of the education, right? So to to be able to actually bring them back and ensure that they can improve further, you need to assess where they are. Like when you build a house, you need to make sure that the foundation is already built properly. We can go up, no? And then you prioritize teaching and fundamental. And this one I can hear so from many presenters today, no? And also increasing catch up learning and progress beyond what have lost. And last one, you need to also look from the mental health and well-being program. You can see the abbreviation is mean rapid, that we need to do it quite fast, no? And then I heard also the last presenter, Dr. Janet, mentioned about localized policy in Philippines, no? And on that one in Thailand also, what they did is that they did the global learning recovery mission, and they did it by localized this into Thai context. This is as a national level. You can see that basically at the global level they conduct, they need to want to see all students back in school, catching up on learnings. And then you need to make sure also that they address the learning loss and incorporate learning technology. But again, in the Thai context, you can see in the jigsaw picture, that one, the last jigsaw basically is about supporting teacher, so they are able to support student, no? But supporting teacher also, they are not only talking about support teacher in terms of pedagogy, but you support them by, being moral support, as some of speaker has mentioned, no? Okay, and this one, this is the group of the local people that they actually try to help to localize that mission recovery in the Thai context. No, UNICEF working with, you can see like a butterfly in the middle, that's Equitable Education Fund. That organization also have very major impact in terms of helping poor students in the country. No? So from what they have in the database is like 1.8 million kids in the country, and they actually provide additional fund like 2,000 baht, I think roughly about $60 for students, so they are able to actually spend on, like those internet type of activities. No, and this one you can see that the last logo is represent Ministry of Education, and Education Service Area Office is one of the jigsaw in the last one, no? And that one we also working with local NGO, local authorities, like Thai Education Partnership, digital learning, distant learning, or right to play, or save the student, etc. No? Okay. Let me talk about one initiative that UNICEF also work with, and then I will share you a little model over there. It's still kind of in the middle, so I do not present you the finding or the result of this program yet, but you can see how the program has been crafted and worked together. And for this one, as UNICEF working with Samut Sakhon province, because that's the most severe impact from the COVID-19, is the first province that they closed down school entirely. So we identify that this is the most severe place, and we work together with Equitable Education Fund, and also local NGO is the Starfish Academy. And also we work with University of Thai Chamber of Commerce in terms of monitoring the result of this one. But if you organize again next year, I happy to present what the finding is. No, but again, this process is not about produce the good result, but ensuring the process is really leveraging and raise concern on the learning recovery. The nickname of this program, we call it Booster Program. Basically, we want to develop learning recovery program to provide basic need and tools required for blended learning. And last but not the least one is to promote and school ability to use blended learning program. And you can see that we actually utilize a lot of the Zoom like this, like the hybrid mode, no? So this is how we conceptualize the way that we work in this province, no? Definitely, like every presenter today, when you touched, the first and foremost group of people who are interact with students is very significant are teachers. No, with teachers, we work with teacher using the focusing on the content, pedagogy, and technology, because we cannot get away with that, right? COVID-19 actually highlight the more significant of technology, but also we need to use technology in very creative way, no? So for teacher, we support them by online course, no? We have a face-to-face workshop, and also we have counseling. This is kind of peer mentor, and also a small class, no? On that one, we could we use the micro learning for teacher, and also they also had to experience some of the worksheet before they get into student. No? And you can see from the right hand side, it's that in terms of classroom instruction, as I mentioned, basically it's about prioritizing. We cannot focus everything. And I heard from example, the case from Dr. Nerfasia, right? That she mentioned about Mardaka curriculum, because that I see that's quite interesting innovation, that you actually create innovation in terms of curriculum that implement in response of COVID-19. And more fascinating is that these curriculums can move on and give its circulation strategy to get better education outcome in the future. No, but for this particular model, you can see that we focus on foundational learning skill and reading and writing. And then also the numeracy skill, because when we discuss with education authorities and also when we discuss with the participating school, this has to be built as the foundation before kids can move on to the other. So basically the school class, school schedule, the class schedule is reshuffled and make sure that they dedicate more hours in these three themes. No? And then for students, we still use distant learning, and we use learning box. Now, it was interesting to see a learning drop box, right? But for this one, actually, we use when the kids already coming back to class. But as coming back to class, we personalize learning for each individual student. So that's why students have their own. You can imagine like a learning bag of student, right? But this one, we get the student to actually pick and choose their worksheet on their own to suit their ability. And then it means that each student have their own box, and those own box measure their ability. And this one also an idea to introduce personalized learning to student. No, that one you can see individual learning plan. Eventually also that serve children with disability. And for students, also this program produce micro-learning for students. No? So for this project, it's going on in 40 schools in this province, and it's already finished one semester, and there are a lot of platform and learning sharing. Like, but this one, I can see how Le actually very proactive in terms of emphasizing on the learning loss. This is an event that Le province actually organized on their own, that you heard from Dr. Vanida, not that they want to raise awareness from 120 more schools in those provinces. And I'm very happy that executive, teacher, school principal, and teacher around those provinces join together. And you can see that from that moment, I also participate in Bangkok and high executive from basic education, which assigned by Dr. T. Pawangkanan. It was supposed to be Dr. T on that small picture on my left-hand side, but that time he was also quite busy. So Dr. Suwit Bungbua was there, so to give encouragement for Le province. And Le province, I can see that this area office is a pioneer in terms of make sure that all schools they are focused on the learning recovery. And this one, the one that I mentioned, that one only happening in one province in Samut Sakhon as a piloting phase, and to ensure that we produce micro-learning for teacher, micro-learning for student. At the same time, UNICEF, we also work with Basic Education Commission, Ministry of Education, and also the Education Council. This one we work with one university, like university that you are hosting right now, emphasize on learning recovery. But during that event, we have the Setsat University to host the event together with us. They have 60 students to organize the 12 focus group on the same day. No, like today, we basically talk like this, but at the same time, there are 12 rooms in the Zoom actually discuss about learning loss, lesson learn sharing across 200 people in the country, and we that event together, no, with that one. And also actually Loi, especially Dr. Vanida also participate in that event as well. And this is happening at the Office of Education Council to at least to bring concern, awareness to all school in Thailand, no? So I think that pretty much that I would like to share from UNICEF perspective, and I joining this with appreciation of your effort of this platform, and also people from Loi, that you are head of the game, actually bring the experience to share with ASEAN community right here. No, I think this is quite an excellent example. I really appreciate the organizer, and thank you for having me here. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angsan. Thank you. So I'm amazed by how you improve the quality of education for the children in Loi. So I hope that we can also adapt the way you work with your project. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Angsan, and please give applause to Dr. Angsan. Okay. So now we come to the discussion session, okay, because we finished the speakers finished presenting the materials. So we open a question, okay. So please, for all of you, for you who wants to ask the question, you may raise your hand, mention your name and your department as well, and also mention to whom you address the question. Okay, and then the question will be directly answered by the speaker. Or maybe anyone on the Zoom meeting, you can also ask a question. You can unmute your microphone, or you can also type the question on the chat box. We still welcome for the question. Are you hungry? Yes. Yeah, either that it is 12 now. So maybe you can give us one question, okay? Because we only do a short discussion, yeah? So one or two questions for us. Yes, we have one question there from Miss Nada. Okay, Miss Nada. Okay, Miss Nada, have the microphone, mention your name and also your question.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon for all the speakers. My name is Nada and I'm the alumni of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik. My major is English Education Department. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. And also I was pretty amazed with the speaking section for today. And for the specific question, I would like to ask to Dr. Rangsan, because he once mentioned about the DLTV. Well, actually, I think this is also because one of my research previously was also about the DLTV. And yeah, I was very interested because previously I also attend the Thai internship program to teach in Leh province. And I was also very curious about the DLTV program, and then I seek further for the program itself. And then I found out that the Thailand government has been using the DLTV to help the student to conduct the learning. And during the pandemic, the frequency of the use of DLTV is increased. And in one of the teachers that use the DLTV is in Bandadindam school in Leh. And she said that the DLTV is really helpful for her to conduct the teaching, especially in speaking. And now I would like to ask if whether the teacher and also the students at the school in Thailand are still using the DLTV after the pandemic is over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
can I answer now?
Thank you, Nadia, for the question. Yes, Dr. Hansan, can you please respond to Ms. Nada's question?
Thank you. I think basically we have quite a number of experts in the Zoom and also from Leh, because they're quite direct experienced on the DLTV. But I'm so glad that we have a colleague from Indonesia actually coming here and intern and observe how actually they utilize that at the classroom level. From my above observation, I can see that basically they utilized with the different extent, and the technique and utilized, they are quite vary, And then I noticed that a colleague of mine from southern Thailand, a deputy director, Dr. Hamdeen, are you there? Can you turn off your mic and can you contribute a little bit? If your school basically right now using the DLTV or what you experienced, Hamdeen?
Yeah, hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. I am Hamdeen, deputy of Salamai School, Southern of Thailand. I'm glad. So, okay, everyone. My experience is I use in my school use the LTV program because the LTV is very benefit for student, because sometimes we have a problem. A big problem is my school is not enough teacher, not enough. Sometimes we have a conflict in the area, make teacher cannot come to school, or sometimes we have a problem about the teachers. We can use the LTV in the school. We can use the LTV for make student happy, and then make student can learn with the LTV school. And then my student is very happy because sometimes student bored with the same teacher or teacher, and then some teacher don't have a new technique or a new method, a new pedagogy. We use the LTV for develop my student, and then so it's very good. And then I want to invite you to my school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamdin. So at least colleague from Indonesia, you hear from the real person. No? Hamdin is a teacher whom I work with in the South. He a member of One Teacher Network, and he also one of the founder and mobilized the task force as a professional learning community. Next time we will share more about this one. Back to the MC. Thank you, Hamdin, as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hasan and Teacher Hamdin. Dr. Wanida, maybe you want to add something? Okay.
Okay, Coronada, I would like to explain more about the LTV in Thailand. The purpose of the LTV in Thailand, we want to help the small school that they have not enough for teacher. So the student can learn at home during COVID-19. So it's a very special way for them. And now we also continue to use the DLTV, but for some school that they're ready to use. So it's help the student. Okay? Answer your question?
Yeah. Yes, doctor, because according to when I was doing my research back then for my thesis, I found out that the teachers are really being helped with the TLTV. So that's why I'm still curious, because right now we already on the new normal. The pandemic is over, and then I was curious whether we still use the TLTV for the learning, and then thank you very much for your answer.
Welcome. Thank you very much for your question, Nadia. So is it answering your question? Okay, good. Do we have more questions here? No? Okay, I don't think that you have a question. All right, so if you don't have question, okay, or if you are shy to ask the question, you can directly ask the question to maybe Dr. Wanida, and also later after this conference, also to other speakers, okay, Dr. Noor and other speakers online, okay. And now I think that's the end of the keynote speaker session, okay. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. T. Thank you so much, Dr. Farah. Are you still there, Dr. Farah? Thank you so much, Dr. Farah, for your coming. And then also thank you so much for Dr. Wangsun Wibonupatam, Dr. Janet Sipinkyu, Dr. Nur Fauzia, thank you so much for coming today, and also Dr. Wanida. So I think that's all for the session now, and thank you very much for your attention too. Now I would like to give the time return to Miss Nada. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the speaking session. And also thank you for our moderator today, Ms. Paulina, and also our wonderful speakers. And we already got a very great insight about the learning loss recovery, and hopefully we will implement it in our institution. And now I will invite the representative of the second UMGCINMATIC, Dr. Andi Rahmat Rahim, SPE MSE, to deliver the closing statement. Please give a big applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm here to represent Dr. Sutaris, the chairman of the conference second UMGCINMATIC 2022. The first, I want to say the Honorable Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik give support this event can run smoothly like this. Thank you to all of facilities give to committee. And Deputy Secretary General of the Office of the Basic Educational Commission, Ministry of Education Thailand, Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Gresik, Director, Deputy Director, Supervisor of Lay Primary Educational Office, Area Office 2, Thailand, all speakers, presenter, and participant. Thank you to all of you to coming here to presentation your material, interesting material. And now we come to the end of the conference. I would like to conclude all what we had discussed here about the best practices in the learning loss recovery. We really give a very high appreciation for all people who are concerning in improving the quality of education and who always struggle with all challenges after the pandemic. And learning loss recovery is our big responsibilities to improve young generations better quality. And we hope we can have benefit today to increase creativity and innovation in improving the quality of educational service to gain and great learning recovery, especially in Indonesian country, in West country. And the last, as a chairman of the conference, Dr. Sukaris, thanks for those who support this conference, especially academic community, all of the academic community at University of Muhammadiyah Gresik, and the committee give a hard work to make this event can run smoothly like this. And see you at the third UMGCINMATIC 2023, and the final word, Nasrum minallah fatung qarib wa basyiril mu'minin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Dr. Andi Rahman Rahim, SPI MSE, for the closing statement. And for all the moderators and the speakers, may return back to the seat. For the second closing statement will be delivered by the Deputy Director 2, Dr. Utai Pliglam. Please give a big applause.
Mrs. Nadilotul Laj Ili, the Rector of University Muhammadiyah Gresik, Mrs. Aris Ismina, Vice Rector First, Mr. Anwar Hario No, Vice Rector Keshan, Mr. Suwano, Vice Rector Third, Dr. Sukano, Chairman of the second UMGCINMATIC, and Director of Research and Community Service Center, Florina MPD, Heads of Partnership Office, and distinguished guests. Today is the excellence of University that Indonesia and Thailand commit to build against relationship in ASEAN country under the issue of the second UMGCINMATIC learning loss recovery best practice in 4 countries. We hope that others collaboration will prosper in English listening development and also academic world. Thank all participants from University Muhammadiyah Gesis, Indonesia for your kind cooperation. Nadiro to Lai Ilis SPSI MPSI Peace Cycle Paulina MPD Chairman of UMGCINMATIC keynote speaker on administrator of University Muhammadiyah Gesis, all researchers and students from Indonesia. Thank all school director and teacher for attending this event and supporting of English learning developments activities in school. Finally, thank you to our host for this guest event and distinguished guests here today. On behalf of the Primary Service Area Office 2, we hope to have an opportunity to welcome to you on again in the next UMGCINMATIC. Thanks you so much.
Thank you very much for Dr. Utai Blingam, the Deputy Director too, for the closing statement. Now I would like to invite the whole speakers, moderator, and also lecturers to take a picture together in front of the stage.